Greetings, everyone. I am Lily, and today I am compelled to recount a tale from my past, one that continues to linger in the shadows of my mind. Each time the memory surfaces, a sharp pang of sorrow grips my heart, and I find myself drowning in a sea of self-blame. It's a haunting journey I wish I could erase, yet as fate would have it, life rarely offers a smooth path. It all started many years ago when I was merely 18, residing with my family in the enchanting city of London, a place brimming with allure, yet shadowed by its own sinister secrets. There was a time when I believed I possessed it all. In a world where opulence reigns, my family stands as a testament to success, with both my parents carving their names into the annals of achievement. Join me on this journey by subscribing to my channel, and together we can explore more captivating true stories that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Make sure you stay glued to this video until the very last moment. And be sure to like the video, for this tale is poised to captivate you in ways you never imagined. Your support means everything. Tap that like button and let your voice be heard. My father, Richard, is a relentless businessman, always caught up in the whirlwind of deals and deadlines, while my mother, Eleanor, weaves magic as an interior designer, her impeccable taste transforming spaces into breathtaking works of art. In the midst of their demanding careers, my parents carved out precious moments to be with me and my two older brothers, Alexander and Oliver, weaving a tapestry of memories that would last a lifetime. 2 years my senior, they possess an undeniable allure, radiating both handsomeness and charm that captivates all who cross their path. There has always been a fierce pride within me for having brothers like them. Being the youngest, I found myself wrapped in the warmth of my parents' indulgence. They always ensured I lacked for nothing, be it the comforts of the world or the warmth of affection. Yet, if I'm honest, I always sensed that their love, no matter how fierce, paled in comparison to the profound affection I experienced from Alexander and Oliver. They were more than mere brothers. They were my guardians, my steadfast companions, ever vigilant and ready to shield me from harm. Their love stood apart from my parents in the way it unfolded. Each gesture, each action, a testament to their unwavering care. My parents' love revolved around crafting a comfortable life for me, yet Alexander and Oliver offered something deeper. They grasped the depths of my soul in ways my parents sometimes failed to comprehend. In those moments of despair, they sensed my silence, reading the unspoken words etched across my face. In moments of uncertainty, they stood as my unwavering confidants, ready to lend an ear, their silence a sanctuary free from judgment. In my younger days, whenever the taunts and jeers of schoolmates echoed around me, it was always Alexander and Oliver who stood by my side, ready to shield me from the storm. There was a moment etched in my memory, a time when my classmates unleashed their cruel laughter upon me for the dress I wore. I returned home, tears streaming down my face, the weight of their words heavy on my heart. The brothers stood by my side, offering solace in my darkest hour, and then with unwavering resolve, they marched to the school to confront the chaos that had unfolded. With a chilling precision, their words cut through the air, leaving no room for doubt. The bullies, once emboldened, now recoiled in fear, knowing they had crossed a line that would never be forgotten. In my eyes, they were nothing short of heroes, unwavering and steadfast, always poised to stand by my side in my moments of need. The evenings linger in my memory, a tapestry of laughter and warmth as the entire family came together. Yet, amidst the joyful chaos, I found my solace nestled between Alexander and Oliver, where the world outside faded away. They enveloped me in tight hugs, laughter bubbling up as they playfully argued over who would claim the coveted spot beside me. They never missed a chance to call me their little princess, insisting that it was their sacred duty to shield me from the world, forever bound to my side. As the days turned into weeks, a realization crept into my heart. Their love was a rare flame, flickering with a brilliance that set it apart from the rest of the family. They were the first to guide me through the tumultuous journey of adolescence, navigating the awkwardness that defined those years. As insecurities crept into my mind, Oliver stepped into my world, patiently guiding me through the art of makeup application. With each brushstroke, he whispered reminders of my inherent beauty, igniting a spark of confidence within me that I had long forgotten. Alexander eagerly assisted me in choosing clothes, affectionately dubbing me the cutest little sister in the world. In their presence, I felt a rare kind of magic, a love that wrapped around me like a warm embrace, untainted by expectations. In my heart, my brothers were more than mere family. They were the steadfast anchors of my soul. In the moments when my parents were consumed by their work, it was Alexander and Oliver who stepped into the void, ensuring I was never left in solitude. They escorted me to school, guided me through my homework, and stayed by my side, offering companionship in the quiet moments. On those restless nights, sleep eluded me, and I found myself rapping softly on their doors. They would always embrace me, sharing hilarious tales or simply staying by my side until I drifted off into slumber. Their small gestures ignited a flicker of hope within me, a belief that their love ran deeper than the affection I had known from my parents. Yet that love, the one I believed to be untainted, transformed into the wellspring of my deepest sorrow. The tale unfolds in layers, each thread woven with complexity, demanding more than just a fleeting moment to unravel. At 18, I found myself at a crossroads, where every moment unfolded like a gripping tale, forever altering the course of my existence. The events that transpired during that pivotal year were nothing short of transformative, leaving an indelible mark on my soul. When I summon the courage, I will unveil the rest of that haunting memory to you. The memories flood back with vivid clarity. Being the youngest in the family, I found myself diving headfirst into mischief, unburdened by the weight of consequences. At times, I would leap into their laps or settle beside them, as if it were the most instinctive act imaginable. Alexander and Oliver were more than just my brothers. They were my dearest companions, the ones with whom I shared my deepest secrets and felt the most at ease. On a sultry summer afternoon, I emerged from the confines of my bedroom. Sunlight poured through the expansive window, casting a warm glow that enveloped the living room in a tranquil embrace. Alexander and Oliver lounged on the sofa, their eyes glued to the flickering screen, completely absorbed in the unfolding drama of the TV show. Unbeknownst to me, their eyes were locked onto something unseen, an intensity radiating from them that was impossible to ignore. With a familiar sense of distraction, I strolled over, my hands instinctively pressing against my weary eyes. Silently, I crept forward, my footsteps barely making a sound. As I drew closer, I realized that neither of them had caught sight of me just yet. A wicked grin spread across my face as I leaped onto the sofa, landing squarely on both their laps with a playful thud. Startled, Alexander leaped back and Oliver chuckled, teasingly asking, "Little sister, what mischief are you up to this time?" A soft giggle escaped my lips as I said nothing, sinking into their warmth and settling comfortably on their laps, my head finding a perfect resting place on Alexander's shoulder. "What captivating spectacle has drawn your attention so completely?" I posed the question, but silence hung in the air, stretching out as they hesitated to respond. As my eyes flickered to the TV screen, I discovered they were lost in the world of a romantic film. As the tension peaked, the screen pulsed with emotion. The characters drew near, their hearts racing, before they collided in a fervent embrace, sealing their connection with a kiss that seemed to linger in the air. As Alexander and Oliver caught my gaze fixed on the screen, an unsettling tension enveloped the room, their discomfort palpable in the air. Oliver offered an uneasy smile, his voice low as he leaned closer. "Don't look, Grace. This isn't a story meant for children." I chuckled, twisting free from his hold. "I'm not a kid anymore," I teased, my voice laced with a newfound confidence at 18. Though my voice danced with a playful lilt, a deep curiosity simmered beneath the surface. Even as he tried to shield my gaze, I couldn't resist the urge to sneak a glimpse through Oliver's fingers, laughter bubbling up as I playfully taunted him. In that fleeting moment, my hand instinctively found its way to Oliver's thigh, a silent anchor as I fought to maintain my balance. Uncertainty hung in the air as my hand inadvertently grazed something hidden deep within his pocket. The sensation, firm and heated, sent my heart into a wild sprint. Panic surged within me as I yanked my hand away, heart racing with dread. A wave of shame crashed over me, leaving me unable to meet the eyes of Oliver or Alexander. Apologies tumbled from my lips as I stumbled to my feet, urgency propelling me toward the sanctuary of my room. I slammed the door shut, my back pressed firmly against it, heart racing wildly as if I had just committed an unforgivable act. As I sat on my bed, the echoes of the recent events clung to me, refusing to fade away. Had I been spiraling into a web of doubt, or was it truly an accident that had unfolded before me? The lingering sensation from Oliver's pocket echoed in my thoughts, igniting a heat that spread across my cheeks. Uncertainty gripped me, but the weight of shame was suffocating. As the memory looped in my mind, I found myself questioning whether Alexander and Oliver would simply chuckle at it all. Yet the weight of that moment clung to me, refusing to fade away. Not due to any inappropriate action, but because I had unknowingly stepped over a boundary. It was in that moment I realized the barrier that had long seemed impenetrable was, in truth, far more delicate than I had ever imagined. As the shadows deepened and the night crept in, I lingered in the solitude of my room, wrestling with my thoughts. Finally, a surge of courage propelled me to venture downstairs. Hunger gnawed at my insides, a relentless reminder that my family was probably waiting for me. Yet, a heavy embarrassment clung to me, the memory of earlier still fresh, leaving me to wonder if Alexander and Oliver were replaying those moments in their minds. I whispered to myself, clinging to the hope that perhaps it wasn't as dire as it seemed. Perhaps they had slipped from memory. With bated breath, I eased my door open and crept down the dimly lit hallway, every step a careful dance to evade their gaze. As I approached the living room, I halted, straining to catch the sounds within. It felt desolate, and I exhaled a breath of relief. I believed they were hidden away in the kitchen or somewhere beyond my reach. As I stepped into the living room, a wave of astonishment washed over me. It was utterly devoid of life. How peculiar, I mused, coming to a halt by the sofa where I had lingered moments before. As I fumbled with the remote, searching for the right channel, a murmur of voices drifted in from behind me, sending a shiver down my spine. Oliver's voice pierced the air, sharp and demanding. "What are you doing, Grace?" I jolted in surprise, and Alexander's laughter echoed around us, cutting through the tension. "You look like a thief," he exclaimed, his voice ringing with amusement. My heart raced as I let out a startled scream, spinning around to find them both looming behind me. Their sudden appearance sent a jolt through my heart, and in that instant we all leaped in unison. As laughter erupted from Oliver and Alexander, I stood frozen, my hand clutching my chest, caught in a whirlwind of surprise and amusement. "You both terrified me to the core," I shouted, attempting to appear furious, yet the laughter bubbled up, refusing to be contained. "What about you then? You look like you're up to something shady," Alexander teased, his eyebrows arching with mischief, while Oliver playfully patted my head, a grin spreading across his face. "Are you really considering eating something right now?" I joined in their laughter, the sound echoing around us like a shared secret. The tension from earlier began to fade away, like mist evaporating in the morning sun. A flicker of doubt ignited within me. The sensation beneath my fingers felt too surreal to be what I imagined it to be. In another world, Alexander and Oliver would not be sharing this laughter. A flicker of relief washed over me, and I forced myself to wear a mask of normalcy, concealing the turmoil beneath the surface. "I was merely scanning the room, searching for any signs of life," I said, attempting to steer the conversation in a different direction. "What are you two up to back there? Were you trying to scare me?" Alexander shrugged, his expression a mask of feigned seriousness. "I just wanted to give you a little fright," Oliver chuckled, his laughter echoing in the air. "But he hadn't anticipated the way you would leap in surprise. Who could have imagined you'd leap like that? Your expression was utterly unforgettable." Our laughter erupted, filling the air with a contagious joy that swept through the room. The tension finally dissolved, leaving a palpable sense of relief in its wake. In that instant, Oliver's hand landed on my shoulder, a firm yet reassuring gesture. "All right," he declared. "Let's go eat. The entire family is gathered, anticipation hanging thick in the air, waiting for your arrival." With a smile, I nodded and stepped into the kitchen, where the whole family had come together, the air thick with warmth and anticipation. As I entered the room, my parents' faces lit up with warm smiles, a beacon of love that enveloped me instantly. I settled into my seat at the table, enveloped by the soothing glow that wrapped around us like a comforting embrace. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the dinner table buzzed with a symphony of laughter, each chuckle weaving a tapestry of warmth and connection among the gathered souls. As my parents engaged in animated discussions about their work, the air was filled with the playful banter of Alexander and Oliver, who occasionally launched light-hearted jabs in my direction, their laughter echoing around us. I stepped into the moment, and the earlier pangs of embarrassment began to dissolve into the background. Once dinner had concluded, I assisted my mother in clearing the table, the clatter of dishes echoing in the quiet kitchen. With the last plate washed and dried, I retreated to my room, the anticipation of sleep wrapping around me like a comforting blanket as I prepared for the night ahead. As I lay in bed that night, memories of the afternoon's events swirled in my mind, each moment vivid and haunting. Though a lingering blush crept across my cheeks, the weight of anxiety had finally lifted from my shoulders. A smile crept across my face, a quiet promise to myself that all would be well in the end. Max and Oliver stood by me, the unwavering brothers I had always needed. As I drifted into slumber, a sense of calm enveloped me, assuring me that the shadows of the past were finally behind us. Yet it was not. My room and theirs were divided by nothing more than a fragile wall, where even the faintest whispers of a movie or the softest notes of music could seep through effortlessly. One fateful morning, I, notorious for my late risings, found myself awakening at the striking hour of 7 a.m., an hour that felt both foreign and exhilarating. Initially, I believed I had emerged from a dream, one that lingered just beyond the edges of my memory. Perhaps it was the sunlight streaming through the curtains that jolted me awake. As consciousness seeped in, an unsettling sound drifted from the next room, pulling me from the depths of slumber. My room sat nestled between Alexandra's and Oliver's, the house a relic of traditional architecture with its whisper-thin walls. The faintest notes of music or the crackle of a television could seep through, weaving a tapestry of sound that connected our spaces in an intimate, yet sometimes intrusive embrace. The familiar sounds of Alexandra and Oliver chatting or playing games were replaced by an unsettling silence this morning. A silence that hinted at something amiss. A subtle sound pierced the silence, sharp enough to draw my focus. Initially, I assumed they were merely engrossed in an action movie, but as the minutes ticked by, an unsettling feeling crept in, whispering that something was amiss. The sounds pierced the air, unlike any ordinary noise from a film, weaving an unsettling tapestry that drew the listener deeper into the unfolding mystery. The rhythm ebbed and flowed, a dance of uncertainty, at times languid, at others a swift surge of energy. My heart pounded in my chest, and a thought flickered through my mind, igniting a rush of heat that spread across my face. Reluctance gripped me, yet with each passing moment, the sound sharpened, and certainty washed over me like a cold wave. It was neither the soothing notes of music nor the familiar cadence of everyday chatter. A symphony of quick, tantalizing whispers intertwined with deep, labored breaths filled the air. I fought against the tide of thoughts crashing in my mind, but with each sound that reached my ears, certainty gripped me tighter. A nagging thought crept into my mind. Alexandra and Oliver were probably engrossed in something decidedly adult. A tide of humiliation surged through me, leaving me questioning why I was even conscious to witness this moment. My heart raced wildly, threatening to explode from my chest, while every inch of my body ignited with an intense, searing heat. I lifted my hands to shield my face, desperately attempting to banish the unwelcome thoughts swirling in my mind. A sense of secrecy enveloped me, yet the eerie sounds drifting from their room intensified the strangeness of the moment. We had always shared an unbreakable bond, and I could never have foreseen finding myself in a predicament like this. The sounds clung to me, relentless and insistent, drowning out my thoughts as they crescendoed into an unbearable roar. I propped myself up in bed, heart racing, and slowly creaked the door open. The uncertainty gnawed at me, a relentless force that made the anxiety in my chest swell, propelling me forward, unable to remain still any longer. I crept down the hall, each step a whisper against the floor, my heart pounding in my chest. As I approached the door to their room, the sounds within pierced through the silence, as if the walls had vanished, leaving nothing but the raw tension of the moment hanging in the air. I lingered at the threshold, a whirlwind of embarrassment and confusion swirling within me. My heart raced wildly, each beat echoing in my ears, while my thoughts tangled together in a chaotic whirlwind. The echoes of laughter and whispered secrets from Alexandra and Oliver's room felt charged with an intensity that was unmistakably unique, a reminder that some moments are meant to be felt deeply, even if they are universal. Confusion washed over me, leaving me paralyzed in the moment. I bit my lip, caught in a whirlwind of doubt, torn between the urge to retreat and the weight of the moment that held me captive. I pressed my ear against the door, my heart racing as I struggled to steady my breathing. The noise seeped through, a relentless force that scorched away every rational thought in my mind. A part of me yearned to retreat, to escape the pull of the unknown, yet another part was irresistibly captivated, ensnared by the haunting sounds that beckoned me closer. In an instant the door swung open, and I recoiled in disbelief. Oliver stood frozen, his eyes wide with shock, as if he had just been discovered in the act of a forbidden deed. I stood paralyzed, words caught in my throat, the silence stretching like a taut wire ready to snap. We locked eyes, the world around us fading into a haunting stillness that stretched on endlessly. The silence hung heavy in the air, wrapping around her like a shroud, each breath a struggle against the oppressive weight of stillness. Oliver swallowed hard, his throat tight with unspoken words, as he sought to shatter the heavy silence that enveloped them. "Grace, why are you just standing here?" His voice trembled, laced with embarrassment, a desperate attempt to maintain composure that only served to reveal his inner turmoil. He ran his fingers through his hair, avoiding my eyes, a tension hanging in the air between us. Oliver's face burned with a deep crimson, a vivid testament to his overwhelming embarrassment. I was just as flawed. My heart pounded fiercely, and a wave of heat surged through my entire being. I bowed my head, evading his gaze, and whispered, I was merely passing through." Though my words faltered, they were the only ones I could summon in that fleeting moment. In that instant, the noise within the room fell silent. Anne Alexander emerged from the shadows, stepping out from behind Oliver. His face reflected Oliver's own, flushed and brimming with an uncomfortable tension. He shot a fleeting glance in my direction before swiftly averting his gaze, unable to meet the eyes of either of us. We all stood there, a heavy silence enveloping us, each of us grappling with the weight of unspoken words. The air crackled with unspoken words, a palpable weight hanging between us, as if the world around us held its breath, waiting for someone to shatter the silence. A nervous smile flickered across my lips as I ran my fingers through my hair, desperately trying to mask the unease that churned within me. "I was merely passing by," I repeated, my voice quivering with uncertainty. "I'm done here. I'm walking away." I spun around, heart racing, and dashed back to my room, desperate to flee the suffocating tension that clung to the air. The weight of their gaze pressed against my back as I stepped away, yet I refused to glance over my shoulder. As I stepped into my room, I shut the door with a soft click and pressed my back against it, inhaling deeply, the weight of the world momentarily lifting from my shoulders. My heart pounded in my chest, a wild drumbeat echoing the sensation that I had stumbled upon a secret far too dangerous to behold. The weight of embarrassment settled heavily in my chest, an unwelcome reminder that replayed in my mind like a haunting echo of that moment. The intensity of Oliver and Alexander's gaze pierced through me, and the heavy silence that enveloped us echoed in my thoughts, a relentless loop that refused to fade. I fought against the tide of negative thoughts, but with each attempt to cast them aside, they surged back with even greater force. I repeatedly reassured myself that this was merely an unforeseen circumstance, an event no one had wished for. Yet, a nagging thought lingered in my mind: had it irrevocably altered the bond we shared? A moment later, a sharp knock echoed through the stillness of my room. A wave of dread washed over me, and I instinctively knew it wasn't my parents. They only entered when they had a purpose, a need that pulled them into my space. It had to be one of them, Max or Oliver. With a deep breath, I steeled myself, attempting to quell the storm of nerves swirling within me as I reached for the door handle. Oliver remained rooted in place, his face a canvas of lingering embarrassment, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. He averted his eyes, his hands trembling with an uneasy energy. "Grace, I'm truly sorry for what happened earlier," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "What you believe is far from the truth." As we settled in to watch the movie, an unsettling feeling hung in the air, as if the universe itself conspired against the moment. I lingered for a heartbeat, caught in a web of uncertainty. Uncertainty flickered in Oliver's eyes, a storm brewing beneath the surface. Suddenly, Alexander emerged from the shadows of the doorway behind him. His discomfort was palpable, eyes flitting nervously between me and Oliver, as if searching for the elusive words that could bridge the silence. The silence stretched, heavy and palpable, as no one dared to break it for what felt like an eternity. The silence hung heavy in the air, a palpable tension enveloping us as we grappled with the weight of unspoken thoughts, each of us searching for a way to break free from this moment. As the tension hung thick in the air, I understood that this lingering awkwardness could spiral into something far more uncomfortable. With a deep breath, I steeled myself to shatter the silence that enveloped us. A nervous smile crept onto my face, an attempt to mask the palpable tension that hung in the air. "Please, I didn't mean it," I pleaded, my voice trembling with urgency. "Relax your shoulders. There's no need to be so wound up." As I strolled along, my footsteps echoed softly against the pavement, a mere passerby in a world bustling with life. "Is that true?" Alexander and Oliver locked eyes, a silent conversation crackling between them, charged with unspoken tension. After a fleeting moment of silence, Oliver exhaled deeply, a hint of a smile flickering back to life on his lips. "Are you truly all right with this, Grace? Are you truly at ease?" I nodded swiftly, a surge of determination coursing through me as I sought to instill confidence in them both. "Yes, I'm all right." In truth, there's an undeniable sense of awkwardness that lingers among us all. In an effort to simplify the situation, I proposed, "Why don't the three of us gather and have a conversation? Perhaps it will allow us to dispel the tension that hangs between us." Max and Oliver exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of surprise and intrigue at my unexpected offer. After a brief pause, the tension in the air shifted, and they both nodded in agreement. We stepped into my room, and I sank onto the bed, the weight of the moment settling around us. In a moment thick with unease, I chose to crack a joke, hoping to slice through the heavy atmosphere. I glanced at Alexander, a playful smirk dancing on my lips. "So, the movie was so captivating that you both lost track of time?" Alexander let out a nervous laugh, his hands instinctively rising to shield his face from the world around him. "Come on, Grace, enough with the teasing. We never anticipated you would catch wind of it. Is that true?" I arched my eyebrows with a teasing glint in my eyes. "I believed you all cranked it up so I could catch every word." Our laughter echoed in the air, dissolving the tension that had hung between us like a thick fog. As time slipped by, an insatiable curiosity gnawed at me, compelling me to steal a glance at Alexander and Oliver. A question lingered on the tip of my tongue, begging to be voiced, as I weighed the risk of sharing the thought that had invaded my mind. In the stillness that enveloped me, a flicker of doubt danced in my mind, but I summoned the strength to break the silence. What if we embarked on an adventure reminiscent of that movie? Before I could rein in my thoughts, the words tumbled out, unbidden and raw. A wave of uncertainty washed over me, yet an insatiable curiosity ignited within, urging me to press forward despite the unknown reactions that awaited. Alexander and Oliver stared at me, their eyes wide with disbelief. "Is this for real?" Oliver inquired, his voice thick with bewilderment. I nodded, forcing my face to remain impassive. My curiosity was piqued. What could possibly go wrong by giving it a shot? I whispered, my gaze averted, afraid to meet their eyes. "Absolutely not," Alexander shot back, his head shaking with conviction. They both averted their gazes, a palpable tension hanging in the air, but I was far from ready to concede defeat. I gripped their hands tightly, a silent promise of strength for both them and myself. Take a leap and experience it just once. I yearned to experience the sensation firsthand. After an agonizing silence that stretched on like an eternity, Oliver let out a heavy sigh, the weight of unspoken words pressing down on him, and finally broke the stillness with his voice. "All right, but only this time, and it stays between us. Secrets linger in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. No one can know." His voice dropped to a hushed tone, each word laced with the weight of unyielding boundaries. Silence enveloped the room, broken only by the sound of our breaths, each inhale and exhale echoing in the stillness. My heart pounded in my chest as we embarked on this journey, every movement deliberate, charged with an electric intensity. Time slipped through my fingers like sand, and in that moment, it seemed as if the entire world had dissolved, leaving just the two of us in a cocoon of silence. As the final echoes faded, sunlight poured into the room, bathing it in a warm glow, while an enveloping silence settled like a soft blanket. Silence enveloped us as we lay side by side, our breaths intertwining in a steady rhythm. The anxiety that once gripped me had vanished, giving way to a bond that felt more profound than ever before. As we made our way to the kitchen, the air buzzed with an unspoken familiarity, and the act of preparing lunch unfolded with an ease that belied the weight of what had come before. Yet, beneath the surface, I sensed that the line separating us had irrevocably changed. As we settled at the table, Oliver turned to me, a warm smile playing on his lips, and asked softly, "Are you okay?" I nodded, a smile creeping across my face in response. "I'm fine, and my feelings for both of you have deepened even further." Heat rushed to my cheeks as I spoke, yet they simply took my hand, their smile radiating warmth and affection that enveloped me like a comforting embrace. "You too," they whispered, their voices laced with an unspoken understanding. As we savored each bite, an unspoken truth hung in the air, a palpable shift in the fabric of our relationship. Yet there was no hint of regret, only an unbreakable bond that thrummed silently between us, palpable and profound. From that day forward, an unshakable sense of change lingered in the air, palpable yet elusive. What had once been a pure and simple bond now teetered on the edge of an unseen abyss. The intimacy we once shared had transformed into a tangled web of emotions, each thread pulling us deeper into a labyrinth of complexity. With each gaze exchanged, a fresh understanding ignited between us, weaving a deeper bond that had previously eluded our grasp. Though words were left unspoken, an invisible thread wove itself between us, altering the very fabric of our relationship in ways that defied explanation. Yet as the shift in our relationship unfolded before me, an unsettling truth gnawed at my core. I knew deep down that it was all wrong. What we had done, the boundary we had crossed, felt like a dark shadow looming over us, a whisper of wrongness that echoed in the silence. Our youthful curiosity had drawn us together, weaving a bond that felt unbreakable. Yet, beneath the surface, it etched a haunting mark on my conscience, a reminder of the choices we made in the heat of the moment. The weight of our transgressions pressed heavily on my mind, a haunting reminder that we had crossed lines we never meant to breach. The choices we made had transformed my perception of reality, and the burden of that knowledge pressed down on me like a heavy shroud. At times, the anxiety surges within me, a haunting reminder of that pivotal moment I can't seem to escape. The lingering awkwardness still clings to the air, refusing to fade away. Every time my gaze falls on Alexander or Oliver, I feel it, the shift in the atmosphere, a silent tension that hangs heavily, waiting to erupt just beneath the surface. We never spoke of that night again, a tacit understanding hanging in the air, urging us to bury the past and forge ahead. Yet, the way they regard me now has shifted dramatically. They move with a delicate caution, each gesture imbued with a tenderness that speaks of their fear to cause me pain, despite the undeniable love that binds us. Every time our eyes meet, my heart races uncontrollably. A thrilling blend of exhilaration and trepidation courses through me, an emotion unlike any I've ever experienced. The fervent curiosity of our youth propelled us down a winding path, fraught with emotions we were ill-prepared to confront. Our bond has deepened, yet it has become a tangled web of emotions, and I sense beneath the surface that nothing will ever return to the way it once was. In the quiet moments of reflection, I can't help but see the recklessness and naivety that once defined me. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a whirlwind of emotions, we ventured into uncharted territory, crossing a line that was never meant to be crossed. Regret may not weigh on my heart, yet the shadows of guilt and confusion cling to me, haunting my thoughts like a whisper in the dark. It lingers in the shadows of my mind, a constant reminder that curiosity can lead us into perilous territories. Though we never envisioned the events unfolding as they did, fate had other plans, and now we must confront the aftermath of our choices. This journey has unveiled a profound lesson to me. Curiosity, a force as compelling as it is dangerous, often beckons us to explore the unknown. Yet, there are times when the pursuit of answers can unravel the very fabric of our relationships, crossing lines that should remain untouched. Life's boundaries exist not to confine us, but to challenge us. They stand as guardians, shielding us from the weight of choices that could haunt us forever. At times, the wisest decision is to remain steadfast and anchored, resisting the urge to rush forward. To all who find themselves in this moment, I urge you to heed this piece of wisdom. Beware the seductive pull of fleeting curiosity, for it may tempt you into choices that threaten to shatter the bonds you cherish most. In the heat of the moment when emotions surge like a tempest, pause for a heartbeat. Consider the ripples your actions may create in the vast ocean of time ahead. Emotions, particularly the intense ones, can vanish in an instant, yet the repercussions they leave behind can echo through a lifetime. Value the connections you forge and honor the limits that define them. True love, the kind that endures through time, does not demand hasty gestures to demonstrate its power. It stands upon the pillars of trust, respect, understanding, and responsibility, each one a vital thread woven into the fabric of its existence. The most crucial lesson I've ever uncovered: